In the era of globalization, human movement has become effortless, transforming migration into a global phenomenon. Many seek opportunities unavailable in their hometowns, leading to the rise of expatriates, individuals living outside their native countries for work or personal reasons. This documentary delves into why expatriates choose Lombok as their new home. We'll hear from three individuals who have made Lombok their destination.
My name is Abbas Jamie. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa.
My name is Garth Friesen. Both my wife and I are from Canada.
Ira. My name is Ira.
I am original from Cuba.
Migration, a complex phenomenon, is often analyzed through various approaches. One such approach is the migration process theory, notably the theory of push and pull factors, popularized by Everett S. Lee. According to Lee, migration is influenced by four main factors: push factors from the area of origin, pull factors from the destination area, intervention barriers, and personal factors underlying migration. However, the primary driver is often the stark inequality in security, economy, education, climate, and more between the origin and destination countries. Lee symbolized these factors with plus minus and zero. Come join us as we explore how these factors shape human migration in our world today.
We decided to pack up about 3 years ago. Went through a planning phase, but that was after I suffered a heart attack, and I decided I'm going to change my lifestyle, move away from the corporate world, and we started looking for a place to move to. You looked at Bali because a lot of the nomads end up in Bali, but we didn't really like the vibe there. It's very busy, lots of tourists, lots of traffic. And then my wife actually found Lombok. So we did the research on Lombok and then decided we were going to move here. So we've never visited the place, and we relocated here 2 years ago.
Before we came to Indonesia, I had just a bunch of different things. Like I was mostly in university before we came here. So I worked at a funeral home for a while. I worked at a church for a little while. I worked at my parents' store for a little while. I worked at bicycle repair shop for a while. So I did a bunch of different things, but like most of my time before Indonesia was education, getting married, here we are. When Pa Andy, that we just met earlier, he was involved in a business, but he didn't have a business partner for a long time. And they were back in Canada wondering about, feeling like, oh, do we go back to Lombok without a partner, without somebody to work with? And we in Bandung, it was going fine, everything was okay, but we're feeling like, I think it's time for a change. And so we were feeling like, we thought about it, and we prayed about it, and we talked with friends about it, and we decided in the end that we would come to Lombok to help Andy in this business, which actually, it just failed last year. So we scrapped that business, wasn't working, wasn't making any money, wasn't sustainable, and we changed to Master's English, setting up Master's English just as of last summertime.
In my home country, I used to work like a manager restaurant, and now I am owner hotel and villa.
How long have you been staying here in Lombok?
Like 12 years. Welcome to Waikiki Villas. We're gonna give you a small tour to show you the business. This is the front desk. with all customers checking in, checking out?
From a living perspective, I really enjoy Lombok. Bandung was good. We loved Bandung. But the pace of life, the traffic, the pollution, the noise, the big city living, that didn't feel as good as this feels. Mataram, being a small city, is way more comfortable for me. The nature is beautiful. Blue skies, stars at night, love that.
So I think Lombok is very unique, and people like yourself that stay here in Lombok don't realize how unique it is. It's unique from a number of perspectives. Well, firstly, from a religious perspective, I think as a Muslim, it's a beautiful place to stay. Cost of living, it's extremely cheap compared to just about anywhere else I've traveled in the world. And then there's this peace and serenity that you'll find here, which you struggle to find in big cities. And so that makes it quite unique. And then obviously the nature and the environment, it's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful place to be. So we're enjoying it here.
For me, influence in positive way, because when I come here, I was already welcoming for the community, and because not the whole family is here. So when you pass too many hours and many days and years with the local community, if this is part of your family.
The business opportunities are not nearly as good here as they are in Bandung. So I think if we had tried to establish that coaching and consulting business, which failed here, if we had tried that in Bandung, I think it would have gone great. But here, the business opportunities, the money available, it's also habis COVID, habis gempa, so the economy hasn't rebounded as much here as it has in Bandung. Because as foreigners, we want to bring a contribution that's useful in the world. And especially on Lombok, with the booming tourism, more and more people need to improve their English. Not that, English is terrible. I mean, you guys are all quite good in English, but everybody can learn, and it's something that creates employability. That, if you have a good level of English understanding and ability, you're much more employable in the tourism sector, in the computer, IT sector, teaching, going abroad. There are all sorts of reasons for it. So that's a big motivation.
Our business is a large investment that is going well for the moment. English is high occupation, good weather. Already Lombok is becoming famous. Only that we suffer, like everyone in the tourist sector, we suffer from the COVID time. We have been closed, and earthquake time we have some months that we was closed. But for the rest, it's all positive, because everything is like still in developing, growing, basic things for tourists need to be settled. So it's more easy opportunity than in Jakarta, less competitive, and it's faster recover investments and everything. In my region, I don't have much knowledge about how it is, but when I travel over there, I don't like too much because Europe is not growing economy like countries like Brazil, Indonesia, Thailand. I think for new investors, it's better to focus in economies that are growing, not in the economies that are already established, because they growing in a low percent. The decision is used monetary, yeah. So affecting my career in the positive way, because I learn more about the hospitality sector. Everything comes together. Culturally, because you become more rich, you new religions, new culture. My daughter can learn more language. It's all positive, social, cultural, economical.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
So the bureaucracy with regard to setting up a business in Lombok and Indonesia in general, it's not as complicated as some people make it out to be. You go onto Facebook and these groups and people will ask about setting up a company or starting a business, and you will have lots of negative commentary on those questions. But if you do the actual research and speak to the right people, to set up a company is not difficult at all. To get a visa is not difficult at all. So we found it quite easy actually to set up the company, to get our visas as owners and shareholders of the company. And again, for me, most of my business is online, or all the business is online. And so it's through me posting on Facebook, posting on LinkedIn, posting on Instagram that people discover Lombok, and then they ask questions. Once they start asking questions, I invite them to come over. And when they come, like I said, they all fall in love. So I've got, there's someone from Australia that's moved here, relocated here in February. I've got someone from South Africa that's here for 6 months. Another woman's come for 1 month. So yeah, people are coming in and they're really enjoying it.
Last question. How do you see Lombok as a long-term location for setting up your business?
Very well. How I told you before, it's like growing and new improvements, new challenge. So I can see the future here is great. Like every place, still need settle, still need more support from the tourism ministry, from Jakarta, like more information, more investment. For example, here in Gili Travangan, the Jakarta government already made all the roads, and they have in this project to develop the front beach. Imagine when we come here, electricity was basically in Gili Travangan from a big giant transformator in 2011. And now we have electricity. It's a big investment from the government of Lombok, and they have these giant cables that going under the sea and supply electricity. So the quality of life of us improved better, because before the power electricity was like very low. For the water, the same thing. Now it's desalinization water. So before we used to be sick because the water was not really clean. And in many things, I think Lombok government and Jakarta government trying their best to develop Lombok and give it the full support that we need for the local community, not only for the tourists, for improving better life in general to all the people.
I think from a South African perspective, I've lived my whole life in South Africa. It's a beautiful country as well. It had its own challenges, and cost of living is going up. It has infrastructure problems as well. So I think with all of that happening, again, we were looking for a place where we can have a different lifestyle, and it was a combination of things for me. I'm on a personal journey around simple living, spirituality, and sustainability. And so the simple living, it's much easier to do that in Lombok than in a big city like Cape Town. Just that's what it is. And then from a spirituality perspective, the island of 1,000 mosques, it's wonderful. I can go anywhere, there's a masjid. And my friends here are the people in the kampung, that's the people I mix with. And so that's been really nice as well. And then obviously from a sustainability perspective, the natural environment that we have here. So those three elements is what's shaping my life at the moment and giving me purpose in Lombok.
The decisions now, I mean, we have 3 children. They all live in Canada. We have, our parents are getting old and they need us sometimes. Now we've got brothers and sisters that live in Canada. Nowadays, that's actually a bigger factor for us, is when do we move back to Canada? Because I know that someday we'll go back to Canada to retire, or if our kids need us or our parents need us. That's the big question now. When it was coming to Indonesia, we had to think about how are we, because we had kids already, how are we going to raise them in another country? So we had to think about schooling, and we actually wanted to raise our kids in another culture. It's a really good experience. It's not easy, but it's a really good experience. And saying goodbye to our parents. I mean, we were young, our kids were young. Then we were the bigger factor than our parents, but we always think about our parents back home. And all of my brothers live back home. Monica's sister lives in Canada. So there is certainly a draw back to Canada. Apalagi, we don't have any grandkids yet, but when we have grandkids, ada daya tarik ke sana. Yeah.
So at this stage, our long-term plan is pretty much to make Lombok our home. The experiences we've had over the last 2 years, we're very comfortable. The friends we've made here, the lifestyle, the access to things that we have, to travel from here to a place like KL, Singapore, it's very easy. So at this stage, the long-term plan for me is pretty much to be based in Lombok. Yeah, so back home in Cape Town, South Africa, in 2020, I suffered a heart attack. It was a near-death heart attack, and I made up my mind I was just going to change my lifestyle, and we started doing the research of where we could move to, and so Lombok came up, and I'm happy about that. Did our research, and then we sold up everything. I got on the plane with one bag containing everything I owned, and flew to a place that I've never visited before, and so that move came about because of the heart attack. But it's me writing a new phase of my life, and it's been a beautiful experience, and I think the island Lombok has contributed towards that really special chapter in my life right now.
Everybody wants to have purpose and fulfillment in life, make a positive contribution to the world. So in Canada, we could have found work, settled in. Part of it is there's an enjoyment of adventure and new things, especially for me, more so than my wife, although she's pretty adventurous too. Part of it is that, how we are made up. Why does anybody move far away? Sometimes it's wanting something new, a new experience, an adventure or whatever. That's part of it. A big part of it though was wanting to provide wanting to be a positive contributor in the world. And does Canada need English teachers? No. Could I get a job at my parents' store and inherit the store? I could, but I wanted to do something bigger, something more purposeful. And so that's a big factor in why we came. Why we signed up with Global Development Associates, because they place people in teaching positions. There's a family in Malaysia that works with Rohingya refugees. There are people that work in Africa, all sorts of different ways to contribute to the world in positive ways. So that's a major motivation. For
someone like yourself, and specifically university students, there is a mind shift that needs to take place. A mind shift from this perspective that Lombok is not good enough. I think that's a very important mind shift that needs to take place, because I experience it with people when I engage with people here. You constantly look into the West and saying that is the level, but I think the world is changing dramatically. There's opportunities, and people are looking for different ways of travel, they're looking for different ways of holiday, they're looking for different experiences. And in those experiences, it's not the glitz and glamour that you see in the West. And for me, that's what's unique about Lombok. It's offering something very different. The reason that we moved here and we're enjoying it is because we wanted to move away from that big city rat race. And there's more and more people that's waking up to that and saying there must be a different way of living. And so Lombok has all of that to offer people. And so once you understand that, then you understand that you as locals in Lombok have something very unique to offer the world. It's something extremely unique. And I'm not saying just because I'm living here. I've had the privilege of traveling to lots of places all over the world. And this place is very unique for someone who is looking for that different way of life, for a simpler life, different lifestyle, away from the trappings of this constant consumerism. And so I think therein is the advantage that Lombok has, and the people of Lombok, to start sharing and telling their own stories and being proud of being a local in Lombok.
Through these interviews, we gain insights into why expatriates choose Lombok as their destination for work. Mr. Gart's decision to move to Lombok is influenced by several factors: the need to change after 24 years in Bandung, professional opportunities, a better quality of life, and a desire to contribute to the local community. Despite challenges, the establishment of Master's English reflects successful adaptation and entrepreneurship. Mrs. Ira finds compelling reasons in Lombok, including career opportunities, infrastructure support, and rich social and cultural experiences, especially in Gili Trawangan. Similarly, Mr. Abbas is attracted to Lombok's natural beauty, low cost of living, and business opportunities in tourism, seeking a healthier and simpler lifestyle. These expatriates' choices highlight Lombok's appeal as a place for residents and businesses, offering economic potential, cultural richness, and lifestyle benefits.
Okay, thank you for the interview. Maybe that's all we need to ask from you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for answering our question and helping this research.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure can help you in your assignment.
Okay.
And I will recommend to your teachers.
Okay, thank you for the time.
Thank you very much.
Okay.